During this video, I'll be going through with you what exactly are support and resistance zones and how we can use them and identify them easily. So the first thing that I want to be discussing are what exactly are support zones and resistance zones. So these zones are psychological levels and psychological zones where buyers and sellers identify price is reacting upon and they try to get on trends based on those zones. And I have here a very good example of a supply zone. And a supply zone is where buyers are looking to get into their trades. So I will, in this chart, you'll see that price is going on a kind of up and down momentum right here. And you can see that this area right here has been pushing price upwards constantly. So I'll just draw a line right here and explain what I mean. So you can see that if I were to get a line tool right here, you can see that price has been going on an uptrend and then moved back to that area. And it got a reaction of that and caused a reversal of the trend. Went up and went again down, reacting onto the same level as before. So this creates a supply zone or a support zone. It can be called either way, and you may hear it in both ways. Anyway, so in the support level, in the next time that price will be going towards that level, buyers are going to be looking to get a trade into that zone. So the next time that it got back into that zone, buyers will have been looking onto that level and thought, okay, if we get a reaction off of that, we're going to be buying and going long on this pair. And if you were to be going long, you'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Let's say it got a reaction off of this support zone. So you can see that this support zone is really strong, and each time price reaches onto that area, it bounces off and pushes it into a long trend and a bull trend. So this is a very strong support zone, and the support zones and resistance zones are stronger when they get multiple reactions. So the more reactions, the better for those zones. So you can see in the current price, it hit onto this zone again and pushed off again. So you can see that this is a really strong support zone. And usually what traders do, they are looking around at these areas right here and try to see if they get a reaction of those areas and go long depending on the reaction and their strategy. Obviously, each strategy varies, so depending on the criteria you use, you might have a different view on this. But usually, support and resistance zones are vital in each strategy. So this is an example of a supply zone, and now I'll be showing you an example of a resistance zone. So a supply zone or a support zone is a zone where buyers are looking to get into their trades, and a resistance zone is where sellers are looking to get into trades. So if we were to draw a line right here, you'll see that price on the same pair has been rejecting off of this area right here multiple times. So in this case, it got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reactions, which means it's a really strong resistance. It's not as strong as the previous zone that we had a look before, but it's still a strong one. And you can see that price has been going upwards in the first time, pretty aggressively as well, rejected off the area, went back and caused a downtrend for a few days, and then pushed up again and tried to retest the same level as before and got again rejected. So now sellers will be having an eye on this area. So the next time it reaches this area right here, sellers will be selling off when they get a reaction, and based obviously on their criteria of their trading strategy. And if they were to go short on this one, they will have gotten a lot of profit. So you can see how useful resistance and support zones can be if they are used correctly. And most strategies don't fully rely on support and resistance, but use them as extra confluences and extra reasons to get into trades. So that is one thing to keep in mind. I wouldn't suggest you trading off of support and resistance zones only, but accommodate them into your trading strategy in order to get better quality trades. So another thing to note is that resistance zones, for example, price broke through this area right here you can see it breaks through and carries on in an uptrend, but this area still remains. So the next time price reaches onto that area, you'll see that when it came down to this area here, it got a reaction and pushed off again multiple times again and again before actually continuing the downtrend. So you can see these uh, resistance zones that we had before turn into a support zone afterwards when the price was above that area. So support zones can turn into resistance zones and resistance zones can turn into support zones. It doesn't matter where the price is, this area still holds on regardless of where the price is. So buyers and sellers will be having a look at these areas regardless of where price is. And another thing that I would suggest you doing, at least when you are a beginner, is using a rectangle tool to be marking up your uh, support and resistance zones. So instead of using just a line, you'll mark up this zone right here, and you can see this allows you to cover a brighter area of price. So instead of having a very flat line which markups a single area, so just one price, this allows you to mark up an area which includes the wicks and other zones. So you can see that price rejected in a slightly lower area right here, so we can include that as well into our zone. You can see when price reached into that point, it rejected off this area again and pushed back downwards. So we're able to include those areas as well into our zone, and we can also include the wicks. So this will allow you to get better quality trades instead of just going up. You can see that using the line, the price pushed off and went above the line, while if we were to include a box or a zone, you wouldn't have that problem. So you will be comfortable taking this trade regardless if it wicked out of the line that we had before, if we were to use the zone instead. So I would suggest using a rectangle instead of just a line, especially when you're starting out at first. So just to recap, resistance zones are when price is coming from and underneath the zone up to that point, you are going to be looking for short positions, and when price is moving above the this zone, it's called a support zone, and you're going to be looking to go long instead. So keep that in mind. I hope this video was useful, and if it was, make sure to like and subscribe into the channel. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.